Five, four, three, two, one. Tactical 16 radio. Fire in the hole! With Silent J.
Hi, everybody. This is Tactical 16 Radio, and I am Silent J, and I am out of breath. I literally am still in half my uniform right now. Man, I'm telling you, I'm not even lying. Still got my uniform pants, my damn boots on. I fucking one for words, I tell you that much. Is it one for words? Whatever. I am beat right now, so I'm gonna take off my boots while I talk. Anyway, this is Tactical 16 Radio, and I am Silent J, the best one-man show that veteran online radio has to offer on a Wednesday night. I am the greatest internet radio host from the west coast of Pennsylvania, soon to be the west coast of New York. A month and a half. I'll tell you what happened. I woke up early. I had to go into work early. We had to go do some reports. Any of you guys out there that are in the military and you know what a USR turn-in is, that's what I had to do today. And I had to drive it's like 4.5 hours one way. Go do this damn turn-in. That was my toes that just cracked. Do this turn-in. Did a turn-in burn. Came back to my unit. I had to go get my car. And now I'm here. And I got back. The show was supposed to start 2 hours and 41 minutes ago. Then I had to push the show back to 9. And then I pushed the show to 9:30. 9:35. And I finally am on at 9:40. You want to talk about dedication? My armpits reek of dedication right now. Hold on. These fucking things off. Look at this. Ugh. Nastiest green socks. Those Army socks. They don't do anything for you. Oh my. I feel so much better right now. If I could free ball, I would right now, but this seat would probably be a little too cold, and it's a leather seat, and there's a crack in it. You know what happens there? A little pinchy of the skin. Crab legs. You know, that's what it feels like. It feels like you're getting pinched by a crab leg. But anyway, I'm good to be here. It is sports night. We were going to have JD from JD's Rockin Sports. It is the only sports show on vetsonmedia.com. Hold on. Okay, I know you guys want it. I know you're looking forward to it. Here's the plugs of the show. Checked out. God, I can't even talk. Hold on. I need a sip of water. There we go. Much better. Check out tactical16.com. That's tactical, the number 16.com, okay? Not tactical, the word 16, but tactical16.com for all your veteran reading pleasure and enjoyment. What is Tactical 16, you say? Well, I'm here to tell you. Tactical 16 is a publishing company by veterans, okay, for everybody. We don't just want to make books, publish books for just veterans to read, because, listen, I'm a veteran of almost 14 years. I'm a little slow when it comes to the reading words thing, so this is why I like to do radio. But if you're on the ball and you know how to read properly, go to tactical16.com, and you, my friends, can get an awesome book like Love Me When I'm Gone by my awesome co-host, Rob Lewis. He's the author of Love Me When I'm Gone. You can check that out on Tactical 16. You can check out Brave Rifles from our CEO and president. Can I say CEO? The guy in charge, Eric Shaw. He's not as cool as Rob, but he's cool. He's cool because he's the boss. He's the book boss. He's the book daddy. All right. And then we also have Then I Cried Stories of a Mortuary NCO by Justin Jordan. Chris Hernandez has a couple books, Proof of Our Resolve and Line in the Valley. Check out all these books. Then there's another book by this dude that, I don't know, his name's Kevin. I just never talked to him, and I don't know, whatever. But check his book out too. All right, there's more books coming out. All right, and also Tactical 16 is going to be on Fox News. all right, in the future. That's awesome. We're going to be back on Fox News. I don't know about me, but we are going collectively as an entity. We are going to be on Fox News pretty soon. That's pretty badass. Not your local affiliate, but the big ass cable news daddy. All right, so that's going to be awesome. So check out tactical16.com, and then also if you're watching this and you look at over my right shoulder. You will see vetsonmedia.com. Check out vetsonmedia.com. Vetsonmedia.com. You don't know what it is? Well, I don't know how you're listening if you don't know what it is, because you kind of partially sort of should maybe kind of almost know what vetsonmedia.com is if you're listening to the show. But anyway, what vetsonmedia.com is, it's a website, okay? That's where the www dot and the .com come into play, and then the stuff in the middle. It's a .com website that puts on internet-based radio shows for you and podcasts, okay? Shows like this, Tactical 16 Radio, shows like JD's Rockin' Sports, shows like that show, not this show, but besides this show, but that show, which is on tomorrow night. And then my other show, Center Mass with Rob and Silent J, Sunday nights, 10 to midnight on the East, 7 to 9 p.m. on the West, and then a bunch of other shows. I got a tickle in my throat. It's not really a tickle. It's more like a dulling pain in my throat. I feel like what the hell's in my throat? I don't know what the hell's in my throat. Anyway, check out vetsonmedia.com, and then also militarymediamafia.com. Also check out ironmikemag.com. All right. That's those are two sites run by Brian, our good friend, and he does a lot for everybody. He's I don't know, he's like a planner. I swear if this was during the age of the Huns taking over the world, he would probably be a Hun, you know, thinking about battle plans and stuff like that. He's a tactful type guy, just likes to plan stuff. Like, I don't know what the fun in planning stuff is. I don't want to plan anything. That's why we got Brian to do it. Okay, Brian. Oh, and it's his birthday. Happy 57th birthday, you alcoholic. That last part is definitely true. I don't know about the first part, the happy birthday part. It's all true. He's 57 years old, and he's drunk, and it's his birthday. So wish Brian from Iron Mike Mag a happy birthday. So check out ironmikemag.com, and also check him out on Facebook at Iron Mike Mag. That's Iron Mike, kind of like the boxer, but instead of Tyson, it's Mag, M-A-G, like the thing that Governor Cuomo is scared of, you know, mags. So check that out, ironmikemag.com. And I'm going to talk about a lot of sports tonight. Oh, by the way, did you know that, what the hell is that movie? Forrest Gump is 20 years old. That is insane. Forrest Gump, 20 years old. No, I don't want to watch anything. It's sports night, so I'm trying to get ready. Okay? So I'm bringing up some sports stuff. What? Okay. This damn computer of mine. We're going to talk about sports with JD. We're not going to talk about football. We are, but I'm not going to talk to him directly about football. I'm going to speak to him indirectly because he is a Patriots fan. I could just hear the boos right now coming from the audience. Yeah, nobody likes a Patriots fan. They're smug. I get it. Nobody likes those guys. The Patriots or the fans. What is this? Goofiest stuff on Skype. So he's going to be calling up in a couple minutes. I'm going to take a moment in time and just stretch. It's not very good radio for the host to just stretch, but I'll tell you guys what. Oh, so freaking tired. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for the fact that there's so many people on a Wednesday night bored off their ass, I would be chilling. I would probably be, I don't know if I could lay down. I can't drive all day and then lay down right after. It just feels like you got to do something. I want to walk around. I want to do something. I would just want to pick up my mic and walk around, but I only have, I don't know, this looks like probably a 32-inch cord going from my my mixer to my mic, so I can't really get too far. I have another cable right here. This, I don't know why I'm not using that one. This mother effer's long. Yeah, that's what I need. How does this work? I have so many cables and stuff like that. If you want to start an internet radio show, I have enough equipment for you guys. So, yeah, speaking of that, when I move to Buffalo in like soon, within the next month. Holy cow. Just over a month I moved back home. I'm getting done with the whole full-time service thing with the Army. I'm done with the AGR thing in a month, and I'll be on terminal leave, and I'll be starting school this coming semester. So the next couple months are going to be so busy. I don't know how to express how busy it's going to be other than saying so busy. I didn't sound busy saying how busy I was going to be. If it sounded busy, I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe how much stuff I got to do. It's going to be so freaking busy. But I'm just like, dude, I'm on waterhead mode right now. So busy. I just want to go to sleep right now. That's it. Ooh, I like how strong my voice sounds when I'm super close to the microphone. And then I stand back here, and it's not that strong. I don't have a strong voice. I don't know. I do not have a voice for radio. I can tell you that much. So for all you guys listening and watching, thank you very much. Anyway, if you have a question at all, and you're watching this on Google Hangout or YouTube, there's a Q&A button. You can go and submit questions like that. Don't write comments on the YouTube portion because I won't see it until after the show. So if you do have a question, there's a Q&A button on the Google Hangout portion, and I think on YouTube you'll see Q&A, and you could just do that because we got JD from JD's Rockin Sports. He's a Patriots fan, so if you're not a Patriots fan, you're gonna have to excuse me. I try to get his co-host on because I don't think he's a Patriots fan. But hey, man, nice to finally talk to you. I know we've been, I guess you could say, co-workers in a way for quite a while. But
absolutely, man. And you know what? First thing I want to say is thank you for your service, man. I definitely appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Like I'm still in my uniform pants. When we spoke earlier, I had a 4.5-hour drive out to my headquarters this morning to do a report. It's a USR report. It's like a quarterly report. Then I had to drive 4.5 hours back, and then I had to drive another 25 minutes from my unit. So I usually do the show from 7 to 9, and I believe that's what I told you originally. So thanks for hanging in there and waiting. I actually started. I was 10 minutes off my target time, and the only reason why is because one of my coworkers had to stop and use the bathroom like 20 minutes after we left a rest stop, and when we had lunch, I was very aggravated. So we're here, and we're gonna talk sports, but I do a one-man show, so I try to keep it funny. Then when I have another person on, I'm all excited, but I really shouldn't be excited to have you on because I'm jealous of you.
Oh, why is that?
Because of your sports team that you like, your football team that you like.
Well, before you go into that, let me just mention real quick that my baseball team. I tell you, if your show was on maybe about 30 minutes from now, I would be heavily drunk because my Red Sox are currently losing to the Chicago Cubs, of all people. Not just losing, but they're about to be swept by the Chicago Cubs.
Listen, I tell you what, I'm a Yankees fan, so I really don't like you now. Why do I have you on? Where's Ivan?
Ivan is currently in the doghouse.
Oh.
Not like in trouble in the doghouse. He picked up two he picked up two stray pit bulls that Adam Bird kind of pawned off on him. And Adam Bird, our boss of Vets on Media, and he's been trying to get rid of them now for a few days. He's had people come over a few times to look at the dogs, so he couldn't make it. He's trying to get the dogs a home.
Yeah, I was listening to his other show last week when Adam called in. to that show, which runs on Thursday nights. And I actually heard Adam talk, and then Ivan's like, "Oh, we'll take him." And I think his wife is a co-host. And so I called up, I added something to the show, and then I said, "Hey, listen, stop setting standards," because she's like, "Okay, you could take the only for like." It was like 2 days. And I'll fast forward.
Yeah,
it's been almost a
little
week.
bit more than that.
Yeah, it's been almost a week. I would love to take them if I was in Arizona, but I'm in Pittsburgh right now, and I'm moving back to New York. I will, though, be moving to Arizona in a couple years. So
Outstanding.
yeah. So if Ivan could hold those 2 pits for 2 years, I'll grab them. I'll take them off his hands in 2 years.
Yeah. Ivan's really not in a good mood right now either because of the issue with Jimmy Graham. I don't know if you've been following that.
I've been out of the loop a little bit. I know he was wasn't he trying to get wide receiver money?
He was trying to get wide receiver money, and the court ruled that, he's not a wide receiver, so he can't. So he just lost $5 million.
Now, what is your take on that? I guess this is where we jump right into sports. Where's your take on that? Because I look at it as positions are really starting to merge and blend. Where running backs are wide receivers now, tight ends are wide receivers now, and I almost feel bad for the guy because he's a big wide receiver. You know, I don't know how many times Jimmy Graham blocks, you know, on the line of scrimmage as opposed to going out and running around and catching a ball, and you know he puts up wide receiver numbers. I don't see why he shouldn't get paid the same amount as a good wide receiver.
Here's the way I look at it. And, you know, on my show, I try to play the devil's advocate because it's good for arguing. And so I'm going to try that now. See, the way I see it is he's drafted as a tight end. He goes to the tight end meetings. He lines up with the tight ends. And the reason why I wouldn't give him the money because it opens up a huge field of other tight ends that, you know, play the third receiver on a lot of them. Maybe not as much as him. Granted, he played a huge part in the Saints offense last year.
Yep.
More than anybody else. So with that being said, though, if he was ruled as a wide receiver, then you're going to start looking at Gronk also as a wide receiver.
Yep.
Because he's not on the line that much anymore because he breaks his forearm whenever he blocks.
Well, it's better than what the other tight end in New England does. Yeah. He shoots people. That's not nice.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you piss us off there, Buffalo. we just send Hernandez up. You know what I'm saying? So
nice.
But I mean, if he would have been ruled as a wide receiver, then all these other tight ends, you know, the more they start spreading out their offense, they're going to start saying, okay, well, if I do this, you know, I'm going to be asking for more money on my contract.
You know, that's a good point. Maybe instead of paying him like a wide receiver, maybe they should pay him as a really, really good tight end. You know, like maybe a top 3 in the position. Yeah. You know, a substantially large amount of money, more than say like a Scott Chandler from Buffalo would get, or you know, an average tight end. He should
be the highest paid tight end in the league, hands down.
I think Vernon Davis should, just because he's really good at crying. So I still remember when he cried like a little girl. Sorry, all you little girls out there, at the when he was drafted, and it was just the funniest thing in the world. It's like he cried more than when one of my close relatives passed away. I'm not heartless. It's just like it's not that bad.
Right, I get what you're saying.
Would you cry that much?
And then those times when Singletary kicked him off the sideline, told him to go hit the showers.
Yeah. He's a sensitive guy. He's got a lot to prove. Now he's got to try to get Jimmy Graham money. So.
Yeah, but I mean, Jimmy Graham is going to say, "Show me the money when you know the contract time comes around," and he deserves every dime that he gets. But as of right now, he's a tight end. He's getting tight end money. He's going to get 7 point whatever million it is, which isn't exactly small money. But I mean, when the contract time comes around, he's going to deserve every dime that's offered to him, whether the Saints give it to him or somebody else. Because honestly, I'd love to see Gronk and Graham on the same field. Personally, not going to happen, but still.
Yeah, good point. And that's a lot of positions have changed so much as the game of football has evolved. I remember being younger. I'm 35. Little kid, it was mandatory. You had a fullback and you had a running back, and that was just like the I formation was constantly with a big tight end. I remember when a tight end would catch for like 300-400 yards. That was a big deal. Now I think maybe 2 teams consistently run a formation with a fullback in it, maybe 3.
Yeah, maybe.
I'd be hard pressed to find more than that. I just think whatever you were gonna pay your fullback, you should just throw to your really good tight end. And the game. I think the game has evolved immensely. Just the fact that one position is redefined and another position is basically gone forever. I think in 5 years from now, it's gonna. What was a fullback? Yeah, it was like one of those weird formations that the Packers would run back in the '60s.
Right. Well, nowadays, I mean, the teams that don't have fullback, they're just picking up a lineman and a backup lineman and put them in the backfield when they need that 1 or 2 yards. So they don't even have a fullback position. They just put like one of their D linemen in there and say go block.
Yeah, and it also on the D side of the ball too. You have these hybrid defensive end, defensive tackles. Being a Bills fan, I never saw Bruce Smith line up inside. Yeah, he was always on the end. Your outside linebacker was always on the outside. Now you got guys. It's just the game's evolved so much. Now, when you look at a game of football, I was in this very heated conversation with my coworkers on the way back. I love baseball. I'm a huge baseball fan. When I was growing up, every weekend I'd be outside playing baseball. After school, would be playing baseball cards. It seems baseball isn't really that important anymore. Like, it hasn't evolved at all. I mean, you can only evolve so much, with baseball. But it just seems like, to me, the game is not exciting when they play 160-plus games a year. Then the playoffs and spring training, you look at it, 180, almost 200 games in a year. I think that's insane. What do you think?
You know what? I'm right there with you. I mean, I'm a fan of pretty much all sports, but the only time I really sit down and watch a game is if my Red Sox are on, like right now, and it's extremely painful tonight. But other than that, if I'm not at the game, then I really don't care. I mean, I cover the Diamondbacks out here as well as a member of the press, and I'll probably watch 5-6 innings, change to something else, change back, see how they're doing, and then go over the game highlights. I really can't watch a full game unless my team's playing, in which case, right now I really don't want to watch a full game right now with them either.
Yeah, and I brought up, and I felt as if I was losing the conversation, debate with my buddies, because I said, they should chop 20 games off the regular season. I don't want to watch the opening day of baseball in Colorado with 3 inches of snow on the ground, and I don't want to watch the World Series where they're wearing turtlenecks and hand warmers because it's 29 degrees outside, and say you playing in Boston or New York City or Philly, you're gonna freeze your ass off in November because it's not in it goes into November. I'm not interested in baseball in March or November. I think they should cut. I would just say, throwing a number out of my 20 games a year, just cut it. Move the season back. Also, baseball in April does not excite me whatsoever.
Or maybe do baseball at the end of April,
Yeah. Yeah, just April to me, it's like it's not baseball season yet. May I start to get into it. I said, you should chop off 20 games. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. They need revenue and TV money. And then I brought up the fact that the Houston Astros, it was last season, were registering TV ratings of 0.0, and not even it's the Astros, but not even the entire city is able to view the Astros because I think they were cut by a network. They're not even shown in their entire market, and
it's a blackout. It's a blackout market,
and their drawing is 0.0. And the one article I read said that there was, in the same market in the same time slot, there was an infomercial that was gaining more ratings than a baseball game.
Wow.
I don't think that can do too much to really push your sport in your city. If, for one, you haven't won a game in, I don't know, 5 years, and two, you're a 0 rating in baseball, on TV, period, any show would get canceled. I don't know how much revenue that could bring in. So I think if you're the Astros owner, 20 games being chopped off might not be too bad.
No, I don't think you would. And, the prices for tickets are pretty much dirt cheap. But, yeah, they get blacked out because they're trying to sell out the games, to try and find. The only problem is there's not enough diehard fans to buy out those games, in Houston.
Yeah, you got to – and a lot of other markets too. I mean, Boston, Philly, New York, L.A., San Fran, those are different cases. Chicago, fans are going to go no matter what. Even the Cubs, they sell out games all the time. They haven't won anything since what? Taft was in office, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a while. It was like 19-something, extremely early 1900s.
Yeah, 100 years plus. I mean, hell, their losing streak is older than television. So it just, it sucks for them. But they sell out games. And I look at it as the game, with the game not evolving, and I love baseball. I love going to a game. Just the feeling of going to a baseball game is great, but it's like baseball on TV does not excite me at all. I was more excited to go home and watch the end of the World Cup game between the U.S. and Belgium yesterday. I would never rush home to go watch the end of a Yankees game. Like, 8th inning, 9th inning, it's a tied game. Okay, I could catch 140 more of those.
Yeah. Yeah, you got plenty of time to see your team play in baseball.
September, I'll get really into it.
Right, and they say that the baseball season doesn't start anyway until after the All-Star break, which is in like 3 weeks. So
yeah, so they got a lot of practice. They just practice for 3 months. I mean, I don't know. Baseball to me has lost its luster, and I try to equate it to football wasn't always the biggest sport in America. I mean, for a long time, like even in the 80s, I remember baseball being the game to watch.
Yeah.
I equated it to fantasy sports, where I know people that play fantasy baseball. They're diehard fans that play fantasy baseball. I know people that know nothing about football, but they play fantasy football. What do you think is the lure to to like fantasy football, and what do you think the impact it's had in the league?
Well, I think fantasy football is a great avenue for individuals that want to know more about football and want to know more about the players. Because for me, I play fantasy football for a couple reasons. One, for bragging rights, because I won, our league last year. So, 2, because I want to watch more football. But if I don't have a player playing in that game, I probably won't watch the game. You know what I'm saying? So fantasy football allows an individual like me to watch more games. And I get more excited about watching a game. Even like if I want to watch a Buffalo Bills game, which I don't know why I'd want to do that, but if I'm just saying for example, if I want to watch a Buffalo Bills game, then I might have like E.J. Manuel on my quarterback. So every time the Bills are on offense, I can be excited.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, and that's the thing. It's made. There's especially been games like I remember a few years ago, the game where the lights went out in San Fran. Was it San Fran and the Steelers? I think on a Monday night game.
Well, it happened in the Super Bowl too.
Yeah, I mean the Monday night before that, where Candlestick Park went dark for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I could care less about and then this is Alex Smith days, before Kaepernick, really just exciting to watch.
Yeah.
I'm not going to turn on the 49ers and the Steelers when, Alex Smith is quarterback and Ben Roethlisberger is quarterback. It's just, to me, it's not an exciting game. But I remember that game vividly because I needed, I don't know who the heck it was, wide receiver for the Steelers. I needed 9 points to win that week. So I watched the game, and I was pissed when the lights went out. I'm like, I wouldn't be staying up late. I'm not on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. I wouldn't be staying up late to watch this game. But, yeah, fantasy football has drawn me into watching this Monday night game. I feel as if I have to watch it. because I don't want to just go to sleep and then wake up in the morning. How did my wide receiver do? I want to watch and see how he does. And I lost that game by he needed 9 more yards.
And another reason why I think fantasy football is above and ahead of every other fantasy sport is because, like, take baseball, for example. You play fantasy baseball, you literally got to look and change your roster every single day in order to stay in touch. Whereas in fantasy football, you change it one time a week. You look at it like Thursday morning, you change it, and then you're good for the weekend.
Yeah, I played fantasy baseball. I think I played it 1 year, then I deployed during the season. I gave it up, and then I tried it again. It was just like, I don't want to keep up on who my second reliever is on a Thursday. This isn't football. Then I tried hockey. I did hockey 1 year. I won my league in hockey, but even then, I'm a huge hockey fan. But it's like this is too much. This isn't fun. I'm not excited about finding a sixth defenseman. For the week. It's like I don't even know who this guy's name is. I can't pronounce his name. I can tell you, every wide receiver in the league, every tight end, who the fifth defensive, the fifth defensive player is for the Blue Jackets. I don't know.
I don't have a clue.
But at a moment in time during fantasy hockey, I may have to know who that schmuck's name is, and I don't like that at all. So. On the money side of the league, I know how the NFL tries to stay away from gambling. How could they stay away from like the point spread and gambling and football cards or football sheets, whatever you want to call them? But they've embraced football, fantasy football, so much where everybody knows it's very rarely do you play for free. I mean, sometimes you'll play Yahoo or something like that, but every other league I've been in, there's money on the line. So do you think the league in that sense is kind of hypocritical? We're like, oh, we don't like gambling on our sport, but we'll embrace this big gambling tool.
Right, and you know what? That's kind of going against themselves. But to me, I don't see any issues with it at all. And matter of fact, which is one of the reasons why I really don't like Arizona, because there is no online gambling here. It's not allowed.
Oh, really?
You know what I'm saying? Right, yeah, we're not allowed to, which is funny because during football season, every week I'll do the locks of the week with the point spreads on my show.
Yeah,
so,
and then
for our listeners outside of the valley.
And then that's the funny. You brought up something that there's for years no gambling in Chicago, unless you're a casino. But I remember even reading the Buffalo News as a little kid. The sports line for football came from like the Chicago Tribune or whatever the main newspaper is in Chicago, and that was like a non-gambling city. Well, per se,
Per se, yeah.
That's where everybody's getting their line from. Like I know the one newspaper in Chicago, at least on the East Coast, it was like that's where you found where the line was. I don't know if Jimmy the Greek worked there or what the case may be, but yeah, like just gambling and football, you don't really need to know what the point spread is if you're not going to gamble. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I got a friend that lives in Vegas that I'll call up and he'll place bets for me.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, but other than that, for all those legal people that may be listening to your show, I do not gamble. I'm not a gambler. And I just throw point spreads out there for no reason at all.
Yeah, but we fully embrace the lotto because it goes to education.
Right. Yeah, I don't get that. I mean, there's so many things that we should be allowed to do that would help our economy, but I mean that's that's a whole new show.
Yeah. Speaking of ifs and stuff like that with football, what do you think about the Redskins name? And because that seems that's a big, weird. Why is it new topic? I don't get it. But Keith Olbermann, I'll have you believe that he's been saying this since 1978 that the name should be changed, which I think Keith's a liar, allegedly.
Well, I had this topic on my show, and it was kind of like a 50-50 split to where, certain people believe that the name itself, Redskins, is a derogatory term to the Native American people. Now, where I have an issue is where the lady that was leading the charge, I forgot her name because she's ugly. She is now also stating that she's going to go after the Chiefs. The Chiefs. Yeah. Which means that the Indians and the Braves should also watch out.
Yep, the Indians, the Braves, and then, whatever other. Yeah, I think they basically neutered every college sports team out there. But yeah, that's.
But the Fighting Irish, Irish people, we don't always fight, so you got to change the name.
Yeah, true. And that's, and the Cowboys. I think there's a lot of people that should be offended by the Cowboys because Cowboys are a bunch of murderous people. I think it's offensive that Jerry Jones is profiting off of a murderous historical name. I don't like
well,
that.
if you start it up, I'm sure, it'll make national news, and we may have their name changed here before the end of the season.
I would like to do it just because, I hate the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys. Yeah.
You'll fit right in Arizona.
Yeah. Screw the Red Sox, by the way. The Red Sox have ruined so many of my white shirts. I want to get the Red Sox banned because the freaking colors bleed. And all of a sudden, I got pink shirts because of Red Sox. So screw you, David Ortiz, your evil name, and those pesky red foot garments.
And then wearing pink shirts, then people question your sexual orientation, and then, it just goes there.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, it's like that guy watches curling. Look, he's got a pink shirt on. Then I got to defend myself from that. But and that's, you brought up a good point. Like, the lady's going to go after the Chiefs, and then it's going to be, the Cleveland Indians, the Atlanta Braves, and I don't know if there's any more teams out there with Indian-based names.
It's a good thing that animals couldn't talk, because you guys always portray us as vicious animals.
Yeah.
We are people lovers.
There's baby bears out there that are pissed off because they're associated with a bunch of losers for 100 years. Baby bears are offended by the Chicago Cubs, and the White Sox are scared of the Red Sox because they don't want to mix. They all come out pink. It's a bunch of bullshit in sports. They should just be called your team, the zip code.
Yeah, right. I mean, but then you'll have gangs coming in and saying, well, that's trademark infringement because we've been, shouting, 6-0 deuce forever, and, we want to copyright that shit.
Yeah, good point. It's vicious. It's a vicious cycle. But you know what? I'm glad Al Sharpton, let's just say, maybe somebody like Al Sharpton who would take offense to a name like the Redskins or whatever. I'm glad he's not a rugby fan, because he might really be pissed off with the team from New Zealand. They're called the New Zealand Blacks. And that's a rugby team. I don't know where they got their name from, and that's a fairly common name when it comes to like rugby and Australian rules football and soccer. The Blacks. I don't know what the meaning of the name is, but why aren't people up in arms about that? I mean,
right?
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, and I would be upset if I was Buffalo Bill Cody's ancestors, because the Bills have been tarnishing his name for a good 50 years. I'm a Bills fan. Right. Let's face it, the team sucks, and we just lost one of our better players yesterday. And Kiko Alonso, he's out for the year, so I'm upset about that. But we do have a guy named Brandon Spikes, so hopefully.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah,
I've heard of him.
Yeah. Now he kind of did a lot of smack talking of the Patriots organization. What do you think about players that when they leave an organization for whatever reason and just turn around and slam the team? In the press.
My initial thought on Spikes, first off, is if you're going to talk shit about a team like the Patriots, you don't do it when you join a team like the Buffalo Bills. You do it like Welker did when you go to like the Broncos or a team that you're pretty. I'm just saying, man. I mean, go to a team that has some bragging rights over the Patriots.
Yeah, at least if like the say at least like if the Bills had the Patriots number over the last 10 years, like, okay, you guys make the playoffs every year, but we beat you twice a year. I can even understand that as it. I think we beat you twice in the last decade. I don't know.
Yeah. No, actually, you know what? I actually expect to lose to you guys once a year. I think I expect to lose to every team in the AFC East once a year. And I think we lost to Miami and the Jets both once last year. We did beat the Bills twice last year, but I think it was 2 games ago. For some reason, every time I go home to New England and take my brother and my nephew out there, they're always playing the Bills. The last game I went to was Randy Moss's last game as a New England Patriot, and we absolutely destroyed you guys in that one. But the one before that was an opening season game, and we lost to you guys.
Yeah, that was back in 2003. I remember that.
Yeah,
it was like 48-3. It was like Sam Adams had a interception return for a touchdown. That's how bad it was for the Patriots that day. The last, because I've been away from Buffalo for quite some time with being in the service. One of the most miserable games I went to, and I think it was before. I'm not sure. Maybe Tom Brady was already playing. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it was before he started playing. Bledsoe might have been with the Patriots. I'm not sure, but it went into overtime. It was the last game of the season. It was like December 23rd or 24th. I'm not even sure what year it was. Maybe 90. No. I think it was before I went to basic training. I think it was like 99. It was 9-6. The Patriots won at the very end of overtime. A blizzard had swept through, and there were punts going for -10 yards, -20 yards. The passes going for -5 yards. The wind would just take it. It's the most miserable game in the world. And when the Patriots scored that field goal to win the game, because it was like maybe if memory serves me correct, it was like maybe 30 seconds from tying the game, or in overtime it was going to end a tie. I just wanted it to be over. I'm like, it is so freaking cold out right now. I don't care who wins. As soon as the Patriots kicked the field goal and won, I'm like, all right, great, now we can leave. We get to my buddy's truck, and his heater core went out in his truck, and we didn't have any heat on the way back. So,
I think the game you were talking about, I think it was 96.
96.
Yeah, I think it was 96, and we beat you guys by like 2 points.
Yeah, I think it was like 9-6. It was just one of the biggest dog shit games I had ever gone to. It was just like, there's nothing exciting about the game. It's like, ooh, great. I just froze my ass off for 3.5 hours for 5 field goals. That's all. I just watched the really shitty soccer game. That's what I watched, or maybe a really exciting soccer game if it was 9-6.
I know when you guys had Flutie Flakes on your team, you guys actually played pretty good against the Patriots in the I think it was the early 90s.
Yeah, and speaking of like the Patriots, I don't want it to be too much of a homer show with us just talking about like the Bills and the Patriots. Right. Just in general, when you have a shitty team, whether it be the Bills, the Lions, the Browns, Bengals, like historically garbage teams, and I could say I think for the Patriots fell under that umbrella for a while, late 80s, early 90s, and then. What does it take for a team to, really turn around? Not just have a good year. Like, I don't think the Carolina Panthers are a really good team. Never been scared to see the Carolina Panthers on the schedule, playing against a certain team I may like, whether it's the Bills or, the Bears are my NFC team. I've liked them since I was a little kid. But the Bills, I'm never scared like, oh, shit, it's the Panthers and Cam Newton. He's a good player that brings some winning games to that team, but what does it take for like the entire culture of a team to change, not just the player bringing some good wins,
Well, for a culture to change, it's got to start at the top. Okay, it's got to start one. You got to bring in a coach, and that coach has to be brought in by a general manager with a passion for the game, not just coming in and looking at it like a business. You need to come in with a passion for the game and have a good understanding of what it takes. And, I know we're trying to expand outside of Buffalo and New England, but when Robert Kraft came in, initially when he came in, we had Parcells. who brought us to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And we got our ass kicked against Green Bay and Brett Favre. And but a couple of years after that, not Parcells, but Belichick.
Yep.
And whatever Belichick wanted and whoever he wanted to draft, he was backed up 100% by Kraft.
Now, what is it? Now, is that more of, because I remember when Belichick was the coach of the Browns, and he didn't do too much. Is it a combination, a good coaching owner combination? What is it? Because I mean, you're out in Arizona now. I mean, when I was a little kid, I'd open up a pack of football cards. You get a card. That's garbage. That's garbage. It was like, ooh. I can't name anybody decent that was on the offensive side of the ball for the Cardinals.
Larry Sanders.
Yeah, that's really, that's maybe. Yeah, that's it. David Boston for one season with steroids was really good. Maybe back in 99, 98, I don't know.
Right.
But other than that, that team has been dog crap for a long, long time. And how did they? But they got to a Super Bowl. I don't get it. I just I didn't see the attitude changing. I mean, does that say how good Kurt Warner was, or even a sunshine?
Well, Kurt Warner surrounded by a few of them. I mean, he did have Larry Fitzgerald to throw to.
Yeah.
And they for the last probably decade. I want to say the Cardinals have had a really, not an extremely good defense, but a good enough defense to keep you in the game. All right, and I think they were ranked like 10th last year. So right now the identity of the team is their defense, even though you still got Larry Fitzgerald and a few others on the offensive side. It's still the defense that wins the games here in Arizona. Mm-hmm. Carson Palmer's not going to drop back and throw for 5 touchdowns a game, And Kurt Warner, I mean, he put in his time, the Arena League and shit, and whoever found him, I forgot who found him and brought him into the league for the Rams, but that was a gold mine.
Yeah.
So I mean, sometimes it just takes luck. You're sifting through a pile of shit trying to find a diamond. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true. Do you think shitty owners should be fired? I mean, it's kind of hard to fire the owner of a team, but you can. Do you think it's detrimental to the league that Paul Brown, or is it Paul Brown Jr., has been the owner of the Bengals for so long? I mean, they got lucky one year with Ickey Woods, and nothing since then. I mean, the
Bengals of late have been a formidable opponent.
The last couple of years,
within their division.
Yeah, within their division, but it's one of those teams like the Panthers been formidable. Other than that, 2 years ago they had a crappy year, but out of the last 3-4 years, been a good team. Not really scary. I think the same thing with the Bengals. Maybe it's because their quarterback is a redhead, and redheads historically are horrible at any sport. That's just my take. I just don't like redheads. So for all you redheads out there listening, turn off the radio. I don't need your numbers. But
oh
wait, I was just thinking about James's girl. Oops, except for you.
Oh, okay.
No, she can go away too.
She's big in that area too. She's an Ohio State fan too, so be careful.
Ugh, Ohio State. Enough of that. OHIO. Oh, great, you could spell your state. That's awesome.
Well, that's about all you need to graduate from Ohio State. So
yeah, true. Yeah, Maurice Claret, case in point. But going back to the owner question, do you think it's detrimental to the league that somebody like a Paul Brown Jr. has been in control and not really done too much? I mean, I heard a story when Marvin Lewis first joined the team as a coach. The team's main form of communication was still a fax machine. There's email, there's scanners, and you guys are still using a fax machine. Do you think the league has a right to get rid of crappy owners or owners that really haven't produced decade after decade?
Well, it depends. The league's going to look at the fan base and basically go off of that. If the fan base speaks up and they are just irate, then it'll get looked into, and a lot of times when that happens, when owners and GMs are getting booed out of town, they will leave. They'll leave or they'll sell the team or whatever. But as of right now, the Cincinnati fan base is actually pretty happy with what's going on, because you got to look at where Cincinnati's coming from, man. They're coming from, getting beat by the Ravens, getting beat by the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
They were at one point the third or fourth best team in that division, and now they're on top. So right now the fan base is pretty happy, because they're getting more than they expected.
True. But do you think that's because of how precious, I guess in a way, having an NFL team in your city is? I mean, like, you're relevant. Cleveland is relevant because of the Browns. As sad as that sounds, the Indians.
Wow, yeah.
The Indians, yeah, okay. The Cavaliers, yeah, okay. But Kansas City, Kansas, yeah, they got the Royals. Not too relevant, though. I mean, and then you think of sports, even if it was a good team, not too relevant. An NFL team, puts you on the map. I mean,
right.
My hometown is Buffalo. Nobody gives a fuck about Buffalo, ever, for anything. We could win 2 Stanley Cups, still don't care. But the city of Buffalo has a football team, and we are relevant. We are better than San Antonio in that aspect. Do you think fans still go and support anybody outside of Jacksonville? Go and supports even a crappy team, because it's either support a crappy team or no team at all.
Right. Speaking of Jacksonville, I mean, there's been discussion the last couple of years on if a team goes to England, to be the team in England, it would be Jacksonville as of right now.
Ugh, that would. As a player, do you think anybody could be excited to take that flight?
And we talked about that, and that's why they keep doing more and more. And every year, there's different teams that go over there. They're trying to get that input. I personally don't know how it would work. I mean, unless when you're on the road for like a month.
Yeah.
So you don't fly it back and forth.
Would you be opposed to, I don't think a team would work. I think the players would be pissed. Especially, I wonder what the taxes would be. On a foreign, player, making an income. I know that's been an issue in the past with baseball, playing for the Blue Jays or the Raptors in the NBA. Would you be opposed to the Super Bowl being in London one year?
Yes, I would.
Why would that? Because I think that might generate more income for the league than any Super Bowl in the past. Why would you? Other than the fact that we'd have to watch the game at I don't know, some outrageous time at 2 in the afternoon, 1 in the afternoon, or something like that.
I would, because I think that look at it this way: baseball is a worldwide sport. Mm-hmm. Okay, soccer is a worldwide sport. Basketball is a worldwide sport. I would like to see any of those go ahead and, be overseas. I wouldn't mind any of those at all. Football, not football, but football, American football is American football. It's called American football when people want to tell the difference between football and football. They say American football because that's our identity. That's truly our sport. So to take our sport and showcase the greatest game of the season overseas, and half people, the kids, the younger generation, they're not staying up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning to watch the game.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen. Or they're not getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch the game. When they got to go to school the next day.
Yeah, good point. I didn't. Other than the time, yeah, I think the league could try to do something like that and try to spin it to be like, oh, this is going to be great. Football at 11 a.m., Super Bowl, 11 a.m. And then it's we'd be pissed, but Hawaii would be saying, this is what we deal with on a daily basis during the football season, watching football at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Maybe they could do the AFC Championship game in England, the NFC Championship game in Tokyo, and then come back for the Super Bowl.
That wouldn't be bad. I think, just in a league of generating money, I think that would be pretty impressive. And well, I know I would never have to watch one of those games wholeheartedly if the AFC
Right.
Championship game was in England. But we're not talking about that. Um, what do you think, like, with the league itself? Do you think, because I hear a lot from people that are fans of the NBA. I haven't been a fan really of the NBA since the 90s. It just seems too watered down for me. The same to an extent with hockey.
Mhm.
Do you think the NFL could handle taking on a couple more teams, or do you think there's just the right number now, or not enough?
Um, right now, I think that there's not enough top-rated teams because right now, I mean, honestly, right now, if you look at it and you say, okay, what teams are coming out of the NFC? You think immediately, you think Seattle, you think the Saints, maybe you think the Packers, you think maybe the Niners. There's only like 4 or 5 teams in each division that you can say literally have a chance at going to the Super Bowl. And the same thing with the AFC. Obviously, you'd say the Broncos. You would say the Patriots. You would say, well, that's pretty much it. So by adding teams and giving hope to maybe a new city and, with free agency in the way that it is and new teams with new money, it would kind of break those teams up a little bit and then, kind of divide the better players to where, like Seattle doesn't have the 85 Bears defense on the field. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think it would be great, a little bit more competition, and it would spread out the talent in the league. But other than that, I mean, I think we're good. I don't think we need to add games. I don't think we need to take away preseason games. And that's been a big topic. Teams are like, or the league is saying, well, let's take away 2 preseason games and add 2 NFL regular season games. But here's the point why you wouldn't do that is because the whole purpose of preseason is 1, to learn the playbook. Okay, to learn your playbook, and 2, to see what young players are going to make the team and are ready to be able to put the best product on the field. And if you only have 2 games, that means you got 1 preseason game for all the starters,
Mm-hmm.
and you got 1 preseason game for the other 200 players that are trying to make the 52-man roster. And that just doesn't work.
Yeah, good point. There's been talks. I think it's possibly going to happen next year. The playoffs expanding, but by 2 teams.
Right?
Theoretically, I should like that because maybe there's a chance of a 13-year drought ending. But at the same point, it's like, no, I think there's a perfect formula with the playoffs now. There's a perfect number, I think, of separating shit teams from good teams. There's always that one team like, oh, we were 10-6. Well, you weren't 11-5, so shut up. I mean, I look at Seattle a handful of years ago when they were 7-9 and made the playoffs. Well, that's what happens.
That's a good point, and I'm going to kind of piggyback off of that. And I'm going to mention the fact that the winner in the NFC North last year,
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay Packers, got in the playoffs 8-7-1. Meanwhile, because there wasn't enough wild card spots, the 10-6 Arizona Cardinals sat home and watched the playoffs.
I think the formula should be changed. Like, what teams get in. I don't think maybe the division winner shouldn't always get in. As sad as that sounds, yeah.
I mentioned that yesterday.
Oh, you did? Really?
Yeah, well, we have we're usually on Saturdays, which we still are 11-1 if I could plug real quick. But with football season coming up, we're getting in position. We also have a Tuesday night show, 7:30 to 9:30.
Okay, Adam had mentioned that he was going to be on your show last night. I just thought he was drunk, so I didn't pay him any attention.
Yeah, he was on last night, and we did a little cover bashing, so I apologize for that. But yeah, I mean, if something has to be done where I mean, if you got a better record, you should be in the playoffs.
You would think the league would want a team with a better record, and nobody wants to see the Seahawks from a handful of years ago, but they did beat the Bears, which, sorry, James.
They actually did. They beat the Saints.
I think
that year.
Well, was it the Saints or
No,
the Bears?
They lost. Damn, I can't remember. They either beat the Bears or they beat the Saints.
They beat one of them, but yeah, you had a team with a losing record make the playoffs, and still beat a team. So anything could happen. I think would be embarrassing for the league if they made the Super Bowl that year and won it. But yeah, I think if you're basically the Packers were one play away from being a losing team with a losing record and still possibly making the playoffs, as opposed to a 10-6 Arizona team, not making the playoffs. But that just goes to show, screw you, Arizona Cardinals fan base. Even when your team is good, you still suck. So piss off. So.
And this is coming from a Chicago Bears fan. This is who's $100+ million quarterback hasn't won him a playoff game yet.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a Bills fan from growing up in Buffalo, but I've loved the Bears ever since Jim McMahon and the Ray-Bans and the headband. I've just looked at him and that guy is cool. I was 4 or 5 years old. That guy is freaking cool as hell. I like that guy. I've always liked the Bears. Trust me, when they did the merry-go-round of quarterbacks in the 90s, okay, this is my number 2 team. I don't have to like you. But you know what? I like Jay Cutler, though. I like Jay Cutler. I might be the only, straight man that says that outside of Chicago.
No, Jim Fawbush, the other co-founder of Bets on Me, he's madly in love with him.
Oh, yeah. Well, him for other reasons, though. Sorry, I call Adam and I refer to Adam and James on the show here as the Radio Daddies. So yeah. So Radio Daddy number 2 has a sexual crush on Jay Cutler, and Radio Daddy number 1 is a sexual crush on Aaron Rodgers, and I think it might be mutual on that side. But
but I always picture like with James when Big Red's not at home, he's got like this Cutler blow-up doll in the closet that he pulls out.
Yeah, he pulls out a fathead that's all sticky. It's really gross.
That's nasty.
But I like Jay Cutler because he makes a lot of money, hasn't won a playoff game. I like his attitude though. I look at him compared to Tony Romo, and it's like, who would you rather have? I'll take Jay Cutler any day, because I remember when Jay Cutler was with the Broncos and him and what's his name, Phillip Rivers, would just scream at each other, give each other dirty looks, like they legitimately hated each other. I kind of liked. That's when I liked Jay Cutler. I hate the Broncos. I think they're a bag of ass, and I was so happy when they got beat in the Super Bowl like that last year. But I just like the attitude, like, okay, look, not all quarterbacks have to be friends. Like, ooh, we're in the quarterback club. Look, these two quarterbacks hate each other, and I thought that added a whole lot more to the Chargers and Broncos rivalry. I liked when quarterbacks didn't like each other. It reminded me of the quarterbacks of the mid late 80s, early 90s, that when a team didn't like Jim Kelly and Dan Marino, they were not shaking hands after games. I just hate the whole. Right. I hate the whole thing. Like the quarterbacks go up and hug each other. Hey man, it's like, why should I get behind this rivalry when you guys are hugging and kissing each other? After the games. I mean, I don't think you should have to, lob your helmets over each other's heads. But still,
it's supposed to be tough.
Yeah. Like Drew Brees, he's so excited after the game. He's like the United Way spokesperson right after the game, giving everybody motivational high fives and hugs and everything like that. Like, oh, I'm so happy. I'm short. I got an ugly birthmark on my face, but I'm gonna hug everybody anyway. It's like, shut up. No. Where's the guy that just the nasty, mean football player? Who's like a really nasty one? Back in the day.
Andre Tibbett.
Yeah. Or Lawrence Taylor, Ronnie Lott, just guys that were.
Ronnie Lott, yeah, Atwater.
Oh yeah, Steve Atwater, Leonard Smith. There was just some. They were usually safeties. Like safeties were just like. you didn't want to bump into them. They were just mean, nasty individuals. I kind of miss that about football, where everybody has to like hold hands and I mean, the thing that I think I dislike most about football is how neutered it is. Like, everybody's got to be friendly. Everybody gets a participation trophy at the end of the game. It's like, no. You watch guys run into each other, 300-pound guys, full speed with these gladiator helmets on, and then after the game, they shake hands and walk away. It's like, now what's fake? Pro wrestling or this?
Yeah, sometimes I wish that, you go back to the game days of, like, Singletary, butt kiss.
Yep.
Larry Zonka. I mean, players like that would just come out and, they hope that when they hit you, whether they're running the ball at you or they're coming to tackle you, they don't want you to get up.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and not to take anything away from a player that's been hurt, like when it's a serious injury, yeah, I understand people stopping and praying. But it just seems like now, okay, you see a guy, all right, it looks like he hurt his knee. He's going to be able to get up, and people will stop and pray. It's like, no, you get paid. See, you right there, you're shaking. You get paid $7 million to do that to him. Some people may have bet on that. I don't know. Other coaches may have encouraged that, Greg Williams. But when it comes down to it, like, the intention of you is to hit that guy really hard, and just from a team standpoint and a win-loss record, you don't want to see Tom Brady get up. Like, everybody cheered when he blew his knee out against the Chiefs. Everybody in New York, Miami, and Buffalo cheered out loud when Tom Brady like, he's not going to die. He just blew his knee out. Oh, he'll be okay. They'll just put a piece of his hip and a baboon's buttocks in there, and his knee will be back to normal.
Oh.
If he was to stand up and his head would fall off, you're like, oh, that sucked. He just died. That's not good. But I have no pity when somebody blows out their knee. I mean, if I walk up the stairs and blow out my knee, or so be it. Karma, whatever. But I just don't like this neutered league. Of don't celebrate when you score a touchdown and everybody.
Oh yeah, I can't stand that rule.
Everybody hold hands. Oh, this guy got a turf toe. Drop to a knee and pray. But meanwhile, when Tim Tebow drops to a knee and prays, he gets chastised out of the league. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. The only celebration on top of the topic of celebration, the only one I don't like is the dunk over the crossbar.
Is that because you can't do it?
No, well,
I can't do it either.
I can't do it. I just think it's dumb. It's like, yeah, you're tall. You're 6'7". You should be able to reach. So I don't know why people are impressed when somebody in the NBA dunks. Like, did you see that dunk? Yeah, did you see? He's supposed to do that. Physically, he's supposed to do that. Now, if I dunked, that would be a thing of beauty. If Radio Daddy Adam Bird dunked a basketball, might be impressive. Might be very impressed.
No, that'd be highly impressive.
Yeah.
That's that right there.
Somebody that's 6'11" and is very fast and muscular, and they dunked him. Oh, big deal. I'm okay with that. It's not that big of a deal. Maybe that's why I'm not into basketball anymore. The most impressive thing they can do is expected out of them.
I guess that's why I'm not impressed with anything LeBron James does.
Yeah, he's the best at what he does. Well, okay, he practiced his whole life to do that. If he wasn't the best, well, then he was a failure. I'm not a fan of basketball anymore. I like the Detroit Pistons, the bad boys. The
bad boy era.
I had a poster of, the 88-89 team over my bed when I was a little kid, and I would just look at them every night before bed, like, these guys really are a bunch of badasses. Even when they lose the game, the other team would lose. It was like, okay, you're gonna beat us, well, we're gonna kick your ass and make you not want to beat us next time.
Right. I mean, I remember, and it's one of the videos that I shared on JD's Rockin Sports a little while ago. It's when like Kurt Rambis was going for a layup and Kevin McHale absolutely just drilled him.
Yeah.
Like he was playing safety and he was trying to keep him out of the end zone, and all that was called was a foul.
Yeah.
It was a foul. And Ramos got up and he was pissed about it, but his own teammates were holding him back. Like, seriously, are you really going to fight about this?
Yeah, now Kevin McHale would have to come out with a public apology. I sincerely apologize for my grotesque display of actions. Yeah, it's just so dumb. And you know what really pisses me off, not saying like hockey's better than basketball or vice versa, is the fact that I watched part of the NBA draft for no reason other than to be angry. I watched the NBA draft on ESPN. Like, okay, the next day or 2 days later was the NHL draft. Nowhere to be seen or heard from on ESPN. And it was just like, yeah, both of them are niche sports, you know. People in the North tend to like hockey. Teams, cities that have really good basketball, backings tend to be urban areas. And not like you look at Carolina. Carolina is a huge area for college basketball. Has never equated over to the pros, you know. It's just it's one of those things. It's like one of those weird anomalies. So that right there, it's just both sports are a niche sport, you know, when it really comes down to it. And I'm just angry that like you're making basketball sound like it's this amazing sport, and then NHL, not even a mention about the draft. I'm not saying the excitement of either draft, you know, it's like not like I really care less to watch either draft, but it's just like ESPN, it kind of pissed me off, you know, when they showed one draft and not the other.
Yeah, I actually watched that draft. It was on the NHL channel.
Yeah, which I'm not going to pay for.
Correction, I watched parts of the draft. And that was just parts of the first round, because I'm really not that much, because most of the time when the players that get drafted today aren't even on the ice next year.
Yeah, it's like the baseball draft. Like, we drafted this amazing shortstop who's 18. Maybe he'll play for another team in 5 years, you know, or 8 years. You know, it's like, yeah, not too much to get excited about with the NHL draft. But the same thing with basketball. You have 2 rounds. And really, the only people are like worthy of I give a shit, maybe the first 3 players.
Yep.
And chances are, in 7 years, they're going to try to finagle, so they're all on the same team anyway. Because it's like these teams, we can't build a team around one player anymore. We got to get the best players of our generations to play for the same team, and maybe we'll have a chance on winning. That's what pisses me off about basketball. LeBron James really ruined it for me, with him and Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. Not that I could care less if Miami wins or loses. You know, all of their 15 original fans will be upset if they lose, and their 5.8 million fake fans, they'll be upset for 30 seconds. But it's just, it aggravates me. I watched NBA free agency. It's like, oh, if this player goes here, they can afford this player and this player and this player, and they could have a super team to face this other super team. Why not just get one really good player and compliment him?
Yeah. That's the way it used to be, man. That's the way it used to be. I already said it on Jay's Rockin Sports. I said, you know, the Miami Heat, as of right now, if Carmelo goes to any team in the West, you can already say right now the Miami Heat are in the Eastern Conference Finals next year. There's no point in anybody else in the East even trying, because there's no competition in the East. There isn't. Yep. You can say Indiana, yeah, they have the first seed, but they're really not competition. They're not. They're about to lose their best defender, Lance Stevenson, to free agency.
Yeah,
he wasn't really that good. He was entertaining.
Yeah, true. There's no. I mean, years ago, even when the Bulls were unstoppable, there were still really tough teams in the East, you know, and they really had a fight in the playoffs, even though they were hands down greatest team ever with arguably the greatest player ever. I never saw them, you know, win 4-0 in every series of the playoffs. I mean, Indiana still fought them hard. The Knicks fought them hard. Miami, Charlotte, whoever the case may be, Cleveland. You know, now it's just like who's top. One team in the East, maybe the Pacers or maybe the Bulls, and then in the West, it's like okay. There's 4 teams. See, the West is better than the East because you have 2 good teams. We have 4 good teams. So we're an unstoppable conference because we have 4 good teams. It's like that's bullshit. I remember when every division had 4 really good teams. Every team had their one marquee player.
Right.
I mean, Larry Johnson in Carolina, what's his name? And I forgot the guy in Cleveland.
Alonzo Mourning too.
Yeah, Alonzo Mourning. Even Cleveland had a really good player, and then that white dude.
They had Mark Price, Craig. Yeah, because it reminds me. You look back at one of the changes. I'm just selecting one like the '93 Bulls. Okay, so '93 Bulls. The first round. They played against Dominique Wilkins.
Yep.
The first round, and he had other players there to compliment him as well. And then the second round they played against Mark Price, who was All NBA first team. Craig Elo, and they had a couple bigs there as well. And then after they beat them, they had to go against probably what was the greatest defensive team, other than the Bad Boys maybe of Detroit, ever in the New York Knicks.
Yep. Yeah.
With Oakley and Ewing, Starks, and then after that to win the championship, and this is the only time really I give any props to the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns that year were the greatest, probably one of the, if not the greatest offensive teams of all time. They averaged 113 points a game.
Is that when they had Johnson and Barkley?
Johnson, Barkley, and Dan Marley, and Cedric Sabalas.
That's the thing. Each team you mentioned had 3 or 4 really good players. And then that one standout player. I can tell you, Chris Mullin, standout, Golden State. Every team, Utah had, Malone and Stockton. Other than the Clippers, they basically, Kemp in Seattle.
Gary Payton, Hersey Hawkins, Detlef Schrempf.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about Schrempf. Yeah, I forgot that when it's Sacramento with Vlade Divac and a couple other guys.
Chris Webber.
Yeah, they had and that's the thing. It's like no team had to band together. Portland never had to say, "Oh, we need like 4 other guys around Clyde Drexler to make the finals." Even the Bulls didn't have. They had Jordan and Pippen. In the first 3 championships they had, everybody else was a good complementary player around them. Nobody was. Who was the dude with the glasses? Was it Armstrong? Or nobody was scared of him. Yeah. But on the team, he was great. With that team.
Right.
And even later on, their last 3, when they had who was it? Kerr, Rodman, the dude from Australia, Luke Longley. Kukoc. Longley was not a good player on that team. He was like a top 5 center, in the East. The Bulls never said, we got to get we need Ewing and Barkley. That's how we're gonna win. We're gonna surround Jordan with Ewing and Barkley, and they're gonna be unstoppable.
Right.
Where was the mentality? I can't really blame LeBron James for that. Maybe I don't know. Where do you think the NBA teams started giving up? Was it just the lack of good players coming out of college, or was it just like a cultural mindset? Like, I don't know. I don't know where that shift was. Let's find that one franchise player and build a great team around them. To let's suck for 4 years so we have enough cap space and get the best 3 free agents of that year. But then if you're the Knicks, you strike out because those guys aren't free agents that year, and it's like, oh damn, shoot. Where do you think that change in the NBA happened, and maybe why?
I think that it kind of changed. Free agency plays a huge part in it, and it's just I think free agents started looking at cities like New York and Boston with the exception of the one time the original Big Three, I guess you could call them.
Yeah.
In our era, our generation came through, but everybody else just started looking at out west.
Yep.
They started playing in Houston. They started playing in LA. They started playing. They don't play in Phoenix. Nobody wants to come to Phoenix because there ain't shit to do in Phoenix. So I mean, it's just one of those things where the West is just it looks better. It's more attractive than living in New York City.
Yeah, true. I mean, and that's the thing. New York is like New York City is like the Texas, when Texas can produce a football player any day of the week. New York City can produce a basketball player any day of the week, growing up as a kid. But it's just like, damn, there's 10 million people here, and you can't get around anywhere. Where it's like, you know what? I could go to Oklahoma City and be the king of the entire city. It sounds more attractive. Oklahoma City as a whole, I think, sucks. I've never been there, but I got a good belief that Oklahoma City sucks. Kevin Durant can probably go anywhere and have people just lay down over a puddle for him. Like,
yeah,
don't get your feet wet. Here, I'll lay down face first in this puddle for you. It seems more exciting to have something like that happen than somebody in New York City that not know who you are and not give a care. Like, oh, you make $12 million or somewhat.
Right.
What do you do for me? With basketball, do you think there'd be a change? Like, I know, like maybe Boston did it with Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen.
Yeah.
And they did it, and that paid off. They won a title. The Miami did it. They won a few titles. I look at San Antonio, and I want to be the bandwagon guy of like, I'd like San Antonio for. I don't. But you look at that, it's like they had their one solid player, and they built a good core of players around. I don't think Parker could be that good of a player on another team. I think if you put Ginobili with I don't know, Portland or Parker with Cleveland, I don't think they're going to bring any championships. But together, they make a really great team.
Right.
I don't see
I
that
agree,
changing.
Right? It's got to be the right system. San Antonio's got an awesome system, and they grew their organization basically from within. Whereas everybody else is just trying to wait for free agency to, try and entice people. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see what Houston did today?
Oh, I heard the Carmelo Anthony number 7 jersey.
How much bullshit is that? Just he was in town.
Yeah.
Having a meeting. I haven't had the opportunity to see what the results of that meeting was. But you actually have a player on your team who's a starter right now in the name of Jeremy Lin who wears number 7, and you're going to put a big-ass sign of Carmelo wearing number 7. So if you don't sign Carmelo, Jeremy Lin would say, you know what, fuck you guys.
Yeah, you know what? And the fact that Jeremy Lin and Carmelo Anthony didn't work out too well in New York, I hope if something like that happens, then Lin goes to Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City just dogs the shit out of Houston for the next 2 years. Because I don't like Carmelo Anthony. I liked him when he played for Syracuse that 1 year, and they won a title, being just upstate New Yorker, being a Syracuse fan. But it's like, I don't like him as a pro. I don't know. He seems like an idiot. I don't like him. Then there's other players like, man, I'd like to see that guy win a title in any sport. Whether it's any sport, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, there's just some guys, it's like, man, I'd like to see that guy win a championship before he retires. I don't wish that with Carmelo Anthony. I hope he gets gout, before his title. That's what I want to see. I want you to have achy joints. That's what I want. I don't want you to have a title. I don't know. He's never done anything personally to me. He's never called me up and said your show sucks. I'd be like, you know what, your time in Denver and New York sucked. But overall, what do you think? Like, I get passionate about disliking certain players and liking certain players. Where's that with you? Like, where do you draw, like, other than a rival team, where do you draw, like, a like or dislike for a player that it just really doesn't affect you, on a daily basis, but just for whatever reason, it's like, I don't like that guy. I just don't like that guy.
I'm kind of like that with Jay Cutler.
With Jay Cutler?
I don't like him. I don't think. I mean, if he was a starting quarterback and he was making $50 million for 5 years, I'd be okay with that. That's basically average for a starting quarterback these days.
Mm-hmm.
But when you actually look at it and see that every year now he's making more than, I'm not just saying this because he's making more than Tom Brady, because Tom Brady give a rat's ass because his wife makes $47 million a year in pennies. So, I mean, I don't even think Tom really gives a rat's ass. But you're looking at what they've achieved, and then a lot of fans are saying, well, they're paying him for what he is going to do. I call bullshit on that one because Jay Cutler is not going to take the Bears to the playoffs. He's not. He's an interception machine. So again, if he was making okay money, I'd probably be okay with him. But he's not making okay money. He's making, I just won you guys a Super Bowl money. Won you guys a playoff game.
Yeah, it seems like you almost have to overpay even a decent quarterback. Like, I don't think Jay Cutler's an elite quarterback. He's not a top 5 quarterback. I would say he's the lower end of like top 10 or top 12 in the league.
I'd say at least 15.
Even 15. Even let's say he's a middle of the road number 15 quarterback. You know what? There's still 17 other teams out there like, damn, I wish I had Jay Cutler or a player like that. So you almost have to like overprice, because I tell you what, Jacksonville, I think, would like Jay Cutler. Tampa Bay would like to have Jay Cutler. Maybe not his interceptions, but there's just certain teams. It's like Houston, I think, would love to have Jay Cutler right now because they have Fitzpatrick.
Right. They did pick up that dude from Pitt that's pretty good, but which I can't remember his name. That's how good he is.
I mean, Minnesota. I mean, they take quarterbacks all the time that suck.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what? I agree with you. I completely agree with you. I think that there are a lot of teams out there that would gladly trade in their starting quarterback right now, whoever it is, for Jay Cutler, and I think it would be a smart move.
Mm-hmm.
To me, he's good enough to get some wins to maybe make you. Maybe might make you competitive to get into the playoffs. But another big issue that I have with Jay Cutler is you have perhaps on the Bears the best tandem of wide receivers in the entire NFL. You also have a pretty damn good running back.
I was going to say, I would say, like, the way you play running backs now, I would say top 5,
Yeah.
Not just bruisers, because they're going to you don't need them every game, but you look at like a Forte or what's his name in Philly. What's that guy's name? Whatever. I forgot his name. Really good guy. Or CJ Spiller, or somebody along those lines. It's like where they can catch, they can run, they can do a little bit of everything. I think Matt Forte is awesome. You think Matt Forte ever wants to kick Cutler in the crotch? In the locker room, just like, damn dude, I gave you 175 all-purpose yards, and you gave me an interception at the end of the game. Like, I just want to punch you in your privates right now.
Absolutely, man. I mean, there were and I lost money again. Well, correction, I would have lost money if I was a gambler living in Arizona, because I would pick the Bears with that offense to cover a spread against the Vikings, and it doesn't happen.
Yeah, yeah, and That's the other thing. When you barely win games, I'd be kind of pissed off. It's like we should be crushing these guys right now. Minnesota's on their 15th quarterback of the season, and can't cover the spread. That's as a non-betting man. Yeah, I would be upset if my team couldn't cover the spread. Actually, my team hasn't done that since Bill Clinton was in office, but that's whatever. I kind of like consistency. My team consistently sucks. It gets my hopes up for the first 3 weeks of the season. Then week 4, it's like, oh, I see where this is going. I got suckered in again. Damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, they have that out here with the Phoenix Suns too, man.
I don't even pay them any attention. I forget they exist. There's just certain teams you forget exist. And it just so happens, I don't know. I'm not dogging people in Arizona. I'd love to be a resident of your warm state in a couple years. I don't care about any pro sports team in Arizona, though.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well,
the Coyotes are a laughing stock. They should be contracted.
Right.
It's a joke.
Which now, by the way, are no longer the Phoenix Coyotes. They are the Arizona Coyotes.
Oh, great.
Which, by the way, we cover them. We actually created a partnership with them.
So great. Now you're lumping in that mess with Gilbert, Arizona, and Flagstaff. Now the whole state's got to feel as if they have to take responsibility for that monstrosity. I'm sorry, you cover them, but I'm a hockey guy. That hockey does not belong in the desert. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think it belongs in Florida or
no.
But again, LA just won.
But
so,
the Kings have been in LA for a long time, though, an awfully long time. And I get that. I'm fine with that. As long as their hockey team and basketball team keeps winning, they don't need a football team. I'm fine with that too. I don't think if two teams left you, and one goes on to be probably one of the greatest teams to watch, it's like you don't ever deserve anything again. I mean, I think UCLA should move. And USC should move. They should both go to Arizona. They should open up new campuses on Anaheim. Don't think LA deserves anything other than baseball and hockey, because I think that's it. Fuck LA.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Fuck them. And screw Arizona sports.
Pau Gasol's looking at either Chicago or actually Pau Gasol's the front runner to get Gasol, believe it or not, is Oklahoma City.
Really? That would be interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Because I like the places that, their whole life depends on their only sports team winning something. Like, I would feel happy for people being from Oklahoma. I don't care about anybody from Oklahoma ever, other than Jim Ross, because I like pro wrestling. I'm one of those geeks that never grew up.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Okay, so I would feel happy for Oklahoma because it's like now you guys have a reason to exist. Your only your sports team. Nobody cares about the Sooners, really. They don't. Nobody really cares about Oklahoma State, that other team. But it's like you guys have a pro sports championship. You guys have a reason to breathe. I feel excited for a team like the Trailblazers, or the Oklahoma City Thunder, or the Kansas City Royals. The Kansas City Royals. If they won, I would feel so happy for the state of Kansas, because it's like you guys have a reason to exist. Why do you think Idaho got excited when Boise State started to win games?
Right.
Because now people want to go to Idaho at least for one time a year to go watch this really good team play a game. Other than that, I could care less about Oklahoma. If there's an earthquake and Oklahoma just gets sucked in and there's a big hole in the map, it'd be like, oh well, that state was shaped stupid anyway.
Wow. Well, by the way, the Red Sox now need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to catch the Cubs.
Oh, you know what? If I have diarrhea tonight in my sleep, I will still wake up happy, knowing that the Cubs beat the Sox.
They swept. the Sox.
That's good. That's got a good feeling. What do you think, now that we're on the Sox, what Ortiz did last night? Was it last night when he like, I'm not even gonna stick around for ball 4. I'm just gonna drop the bat and head to first because I know you're gonna pitch me a ball and walk me?
Yeah, it's it's one of those things where he's seen it so many times. He's just like, really, we're 8 games back, and you're not even gonna throw me a pitch I can even swing at. She's freaking kidding me.
Yeah, there's now, I would almost take that as a badge of honor, being a baseball player, because you're getting paid an awful lot of money, to play the game, and it's like people fear you so much.
At the age of 37, 38.
Yeah, you're old, and people are still scared about what you can do in your profession, so they're just gonna pitch away from you. You look at a Rivas or a Sherman, and they don't get thrown to them, their side of the field the whole game. It's like, why they didn't throw to my side of the field? Because I'm here. I don't think Richard Sherman would be upset. Damn, I didn't get an interception. It's like, damn, I am so good. The quarterback didn't even look this way, not once.
Right.
But
which, by the way, I don't know if you know, but the Darrell Rivas is on the Patriots now. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's whatever. Yep. Yeah, right there.
But since I gave you that one, I'm gonna go ahead and take one, back for me, and let you know that the Cubs just put up a safety, and are now. We're going to need an onside kick after we do like a Hail Mary. We're going to need an onside kick after the Hail Mary to catch up in this game.
Now, one of my atypical listeners are probably listening right now and be like, holy hell, what in the hell did I just smoke? What is that guy talking about? When did they enact safeties in baseball?
Yeah, they're up by 10, man.
Wow, that's embarrassing. That's sad. Yeah, wow, that really is, because, wow. The Cubs, I don't ever feel bad for them losing. Like, I never felt bad. Like, the Pirates, I was happy for the Pirates. Last year they turned it around and like, look, after 20 years, I felt good for them. If the Cubs make it to the playoffs, I don't care. I hope they lose.
They're not making it to the playoffs.
No.
I mean, this is another one of those situations where you go, playoffs?
Yeah.
Playoffs? Playoffs? Shit. Yeah, the Cubs are making it to the playoffs. Theo Epstein, I don't know what the hell he was smoking when he agreed to take over the GM job of the Cubs.
Yeah.
He was so high and mighty of the 3 World Series, 3 World Series, by the way, since this century started for the Red Sox. Compared to the 1, 2, 1, something like that. Anyway, for the Yankees.
How about the 20th century? How about that? How about that whole entire century? How about that whole entire century?
That's worse than the one Dolphin fan I know going, oh yeah, well, 72.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. You can compare a decade. We can compare a century. That's a little bit different than those shit teams. Like, Mercury Morris. Shut up. I hope he chokes on his champagne. I hate it when they toasted that. They're like, we're still relevant. No, you're not. You haven't had good knees since 1977. Shut up. What is it? What was his name? That linebacker that was on NFL Tonight.
I don't know.
Nick Bonacani.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, he would be so excited. We get to toast champagne again. Yeah. You know what? You haven't had an ACL since Jimmy Carter. So where did that freaking where did that undefeated season really get you in terms of anything? I think Jim McMahon might trade in the '85 Super Bowl for his memory. I mean, the guy's in his late 40s, early 50s with dementia. Yeah.
And you know what? I know I might be a little bitter, because we did have the 18-1, but 18-0 in a regular season is still better than 17-0.
Yeah, true. I was deployed at that time, and I was in a unit full of New York Giants fans, and we were in a unit right next door from Massachusetts. And I tell you what, I thought it was going to be like War of the Worlds because with the Giants and the Pats, and then when the Giants won, these fucking guys from Massachusetts, they're a good group of soldiers. It was awesome working next to them. They were just so like undefeated, going to crush the Giants. Nobody cares about Eli Manning. Then the next day, you couldn't even see him in the motor pool. Like, where are these guys hiding? I know they're at work. I know they got equipment out. Where are they? And I just peeked my head around the corner, and they looked at me. I'm like, hey, I'm not a Giants fan. They're like, oh, yeah. I'm like, I'm a Bills fan. Go fuck yourself. Just walked away. And it was just like, for that one moment, I'm like, I felt as a Bills, that was my day as a Bills fan. Like all my buddies that were Giants, we won the Super Bowl. That's awesome. But you know what's even better? Those guys over there are sad. Now they know how I felt. Wide right, and it just got progressively worse after that for the last 20 fucking years. So maybe I'm not a fan of football anymore. Maybe I'm not going to play fantasy football either. I'll just watch wrestling.
That's funny. That's funny. But you know what? One of JD's man laws, and you can check out our man laws on our website, but one of the man laws is if your team can't beat my team, then you can't talk shit for when my team loses. All right, man.
I'm not going on your website now.
Oh, man, you have to, though, to see the other man laws that I created. I got 41 man laws.
Jesus. Wow. That's
They're
a
all
lot.
relevant.
I'm sure they are. I'm gonna have to check these out and see. And not only am I not gonna go on your site, I'm not gonna listen to JD's Rockin' Sports on Saturday on vetsonmedia.com. If you go to the show listings, you could check out what time he's on, because we're in a different time zone. He lives in the past. I'm a man of the future, so he's living in my shadows.
Well, first off, it's okay if you don't listen on Saturdays, because you can go ahead and tune in on Tuesdays, though.
I didn't even know that. See, I usually keep up, like, if you talk to Adam, like, I'll just text him randomly, hey, man, was on the website. This show's got an 11-hour show. Like, it goes from 10 a.m., or a 13-hour show. It goes from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Oh, I have to change that. Or I'll just find stuff. He's like, what? How do you catch that? Well, I actually go on the website and look. And
this week was actually our first week on Tuesday, so.
Yeah, so you caught me off guard, and like I said, I thought Adam was dipping in in some ranch tequila or something like that. I'm like, Danny's Rockin' Sports is on Saturdays, because I actually plug you guys like just about every week. I'll pick a couple shows, and I'll pick your show because it's easy to say, and then a couple other shows I plug. But yeah, so I hope my listeners tune in to JD's Rockin' Sports, especially during football season, because I think football season is going to be fun, because I want in on fantasy football now, because I've been with Vets on Media for going on a year now, almost a year.
All right.
And I want in now. I felt upset last year. I'm like, hey, I made it. I was on Vets on Media before the football season, and then I'm like, no, maybe I still got to prove myself. I think I proved myself. I want in, and you could kick out James.
All right, you're in.
You kick out James.
You're in. You're in. There's only 14 spots, but I got you in, man.
Well, make Adam and James a team, because just treat their fantasy football team like they treat their romance together. Just together. There you go. Yeah, man. If you have time, though, go in there. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'll send it to you. I'll send you JD's man laws, man. I'll go through that. I'll go through once a week, or I'll pull up one of your laws once a week, and I'll discuss it for a minute. Because here's the thing: even though I'm a man, at least when I go to the bathroom, I'm a man. I stand up. Unlike President Obama, he sits down when he pees. But there's just certain things I have one friend that's like big into like man laws, and it's like I told him the one like his wasn't man laws. It was like rules of being a man in his man cave. I'm like, this rule's stupid. Like no man shall use a coaster in my man cave. Like Dude, you got a wooden table. Just out of pure respect to whoever made that table, I'm going to use a coaster because I don't think that guy that made that, it was a nice table, who made that really nice table, wants a ring from a shitty-ass beer can on his piece of work. So I had issue with that. Like, it took a guy, it was a handcrafted table. I'm like, it took a guy, this looks like at least a week's worth of work to make this table for you. And just because you're crotchety man rule, no coasters because coasters are for chicks apparently. I don't know. I tell you what, if you come over to my house and you put something hot on my table and you burn a hole in it because you're a man, well, guess what? I hope you don't like being kicked between the legs because I'm gonna treat you like a girl. I'm just gonna not fight fair. I'm gonna poke you in the eye, kick you in the legs, between the legs, and I'm gonna pull your hair. Because you just burnt my damn table. I'm not even going to give you a man fight. I'm not even going to punch you in the face. I'm just going to slap you in the face. You ever slap there? There should be one of your man law number 42. If a dude's acting like a chick, or not a chick, because people are going to think I condone domestic violence.
Right.
If you got a guy that's acting like a wuss, slap him in the face. Don't even give him enough time to punch him in the face. Just slap him in the face. You ever slap a dude? I don't fight anymore. I'm too old for that stuff. But back in the day, if I'd get in fights, the first thing I'd do, just slap a guy in the face, stops them dead in their tracks. They rethink about what just happened. Like, you're gonna fight, you expect to get punched. Dude hauls off and slaps you. It is like, wait a sec, why the heck did you just slap me? And then you're curious, like, why'd you slap me? Why didn't you punch me? I was ready for a punch, but my face kind of stings right now. It'd be Rule 42. You're gonna act like anything other than a man. You're gonna get slapped in the face. That's what I say. Then they question, like, why? Why'd you do that? My face sting. I got a handprint on my face. That's not manly.
Yeah, it's true. That'll kind of, they'll take them down a step.
Yeah,
and they'll be ready for a brawl, and then you slap them, they'll be like, hold on, wait a minute, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, and you know what? If the Patriots beat the Bills twice again this year, I'm flying to Arizona, I'm going to slap you. I'll be like, hey, JD, nice to meet you, man, what's up? Slap just like that. Like, I warned you. I warned you back in July. I don't like the look you're giving.
My response would be, yes, sir, you did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd be like, listen, man, I don't like the look you're giving me, but I gave you like 6 months' notice, dude.
Hey, by the way, the crowd's going crazy at Fenway because we just scored 1 run.
Oh, nice. Nice.
We're now by 9.
That's now all you need is a bunch of 3-pointers. You just need to start hitting them.
Get Larry Bird up. Get Larry Bird up. Let's go.
I think, you know what? I think if Larry Bird goes up to bat right now, guys don't even need to win. It's just like, oh my God, some drunk Irish dude in Quincy, Massachusetts. You fucking see that? Bird's back. Dude, I can't believe it. Who's next? Robert Parrish? Freaking 0-0, bat number 8 in the lineup.
We just scored 2 more.
Oh, nice. Wow. What the hell? No,
Hey,
not
well,
nice. Not nice.
The fucked up part about this whole thing is, I think the last 5 games we've scored 1 run in each game, and now all of a sudden we're getting our ass kicked. So let's go ahead and put up 9 in a loss.
Yeah, let's expend all of our energy. The manager's gonna be like, dude, the game's already over. Just save it. We got 2,000 more games this season because
I think the Cubs' right fielder is pitching right now.
Oh, yeah, that's a guy that's like, dude, I pitched my sophomore year in high school. I was a reliever. I can do this. I got this nasty forkball. You should see it. I hate that when you get a fielder pitching like, oh man, we were up by 15, so I just wanted to pitch 1 out. It just gets rocked. Well, I was a good pitcher in junior year. That was good. I was known for my fastball. You just threw your fastball measured out at 82 miles an hour.
You almost sounded like Carl from Caddyshack.
Oh, I wasn't even trying. Sorry. You're originally from New England?
Yeah, man. I grew up in the foster system in Mass, and then I was adopted age of 12 and moved to southeast New Hampshire, a little tiny-ass town, which will probably be the only town we ever give them a shout-out. It's called Summersworth, New Hampshire. Oof. And that's where I went to school, played high school ball, and joined the Army 2 days after I graduated.
Nice, man. Thanks for your service. At least you said Mass and not Rhode Island. I could deal with Massachusetts. You know,
Yeah.
Rhode Island, just a bunch of pricks. Just like bunch of
Mostly Yankee fans.
bunch of short dudes walking around all pissed off. It's like just, you know, what do you got to look forward to? You got Boston, you got New York City, then there's Rhode Island. Like, yay, the ocean state. Shut the hell up.
Well, they got Newport, man. Newport's nice.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Oh.
Some people say
we
putting.
can't even give a shout out to Newport, man.
No. You know what? My grandma used to say when she was alive that putting together 1,000-piece puzzles was fun and exciting. That's a lie. Rhode Island. No, because I stopped. Well, I was a government contractor for a while, in between deployments and before I went back active. My partner. I was the voice and data guy. He was an electrician. We used to do work, and we did a job in, I think, in Norfolk at the naval base, and then we had to go up within a day and a half. We had to be up in Rhode Island, and then do a job. Well, we got to Rhode Island, freaking butt ass tired. 3:30 in the morning after driving straight through from Virginia Beach up to Rhode Island. And at the time, I think this was when the 2004 ALCS was going on between the Yanks and the Sox. And
that was a good year.
Yeah,
that was a damn good year.
Yeah, whatever. You know, 1917 may have been a good year. I'm not sure though. I wasn't paying attention to it. But also there was, I think, the Democratic National Convention was going on in New York City, so traffic was just ferocious going through, you know, that corridor. And we get to Rhode Island, and it's too late to get a hotel. You know, it's just, we get a hotel now, we're going to have a hotel for like 4 hours, and then we're going to get charged again. And I really don't want to drive anymore. We were in, was it Kingston, Rhode Island? I think that's the name of the town. We stopped. There was a grocery store, like the red, yellow, green light or something. I think there was something with like a traffic signal with the name. Well, there was a, let's just go in the parking lot. We were in a conversion van. We were in our work van. Let's just stop in the parking lot, get a few hours sleep, and then we'll regroup and we'll get a hotel in the morning. So my buddy's like, okay. And he was a black dude. He was originally from Hempstead, New York, right outside Queens and Long Island, and he was also prior service. Both prior service. Both had military IDs on us. And I'm like, oh, it's too bright in this parking lot. Let's move to the side. Drive to the side. I'm like, I saw an access road. There's no lights. There's one light for the back of the store. Let's just park on the side, you know, and it'd be a little bit darker and get some sleep. We park on the side, and I don't know, within, I don't know, half hour, whatever the case may be from us sleeping, I hear a tap on the window. I wake up to a flashlight and the barrel of a gun pointed at my head. I'm like, what?
Wow.
And I look, and the same thing is going on the other side. I was in the driver's seat. My partner gets ripped out, and you hear this thick Rhode Island, you know, Italian accent, just screaming at my buddy. I hear, where are you from? And my buddy's like half awake and not really trying to give him a hard time, but it's kind of coming out like that. And the guy looks at me, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from upstate New York. What are you doing here? Like, I'm here for work. No, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm talking to you. What are you doing, smartass? I was sleeping. Listen, we just drove up. We're a government contract. We just drove up from Virginia. He's like, okay, why don't you step out of the van? I show him my civilian ID, my military ID, my work, you know, contract ID, all this stuff. And we're talking, having a decent time. I'm like, yeah, man, we just drove all the way from Virginia Beach, straight shot here. Tired as hell, couldn't find a hotel, didn't want to keep driving because I'm a hazard to the road, as tired as I am. So we figured, oh, okay. My buddy on the other side is getting the laces put to him for no other reason than the fact that he's black, and on the other side of the van, I'm having a very nice conversation. I'm white. And you could just hear, you hear like sounds coming out of him like that are caused by pain, immense pain. And I didn't, because I was had a good thing going on. We're both talking with our hands. This cop on the driver's side, I didn't even want to be like, hey, your partner might be killing my work partner, I was just like, I'm not trying to get this guy riled up because he's got his hand resting on his baton and the other one on his gun. And I'm like, either one he pulls out, he's going to hurt me. So I'm just going to let my buddy take a few lumps. And the cops are like, all right, you're good to go, man. You're good to go. Just don't be parked here sleeping. It's kind of loitering. I'm like, not a problem. I just wanted to be safe. He's like, all right, yeah, it's like right down the street. There's a hotel, and I tell him so and so sent you, and they'll comp you for this evening. I'm like, oh, hey, thanks, man. I get in the van. I'm smiling like ear to ear, like I just found a diamond in the bottom of my Cracker Jacks box. I'm like, hey, man, I got us a hotel. My partner looks at me with pain and anger in his eyes and grass and gravel stuck on the side of his face. Oh, you're happy? I'm like, yeah, man, I got us hooked up for a hotel. He goes, what, by my flesh? I'm like, and I look at him, I didn't even, dude, why you got grass stuck to your face? Because he's like, the cop had my face buried in the grass as he was kicking my ass. I'm like, sorry about that, dude. How's that black Irish thing working out for you? His last name was Sweeney. He was a black dude. He always used to say, and I think he told the cop he was a black Irishman. I think the cop took offense to it. Like, that can't be. I'm going to beat your ass. The only black Irishman I know died. He was a singer of Thin Lizzy. I'm whooping your ass now. He beat the snot out of my buddy, and I'm over there. I got a Kool-Aid smell. Got it hooked up for a hotel room, man. And, and I look, oh, dude, why are you bleeding out of your ear? Sorry. Dude, you're going to have to clean up before we go to this hotel. But then he got me back. We went to Quincy, Mass for another job, and it was like game 4, and that's when up to whatever weird turn of events, the Yankees were doing good in the 04 ALCS and games 1, 2, 3 and part of 4. I walk into this bar in Quincy not realizing that I have a Yankees hat on, and the guy at the door politely helped me take my hat off by pushing my body out of it. I walked into the bar and I was met with a fist to the face. The dude literally cold cocked me, knocked me out of my hat. I come to. I'm like, yo, what happened? And my buddy Sweeney, his first name's Bennett. Bennett's like, oh, he just helped you out of your hat, asshole. I'm like, why didn't you help me? What, dude? You just gonna let him punch me? He's like, oh yeah. He goes, maybe when I let you come to, maybe I could say I got a hotel deal. Yeah. So I'm just like, fair enough. As I got like this lump on the side of my face, I just feel it, and I get up, and the guy's like, you're not supposed to walk in here with your hat on, so I helped you take it off. I'm like, thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Not a problem. I'm outnumbered. Yeah. I'm the only guy walking in with a black dude in a bar in Quincy, Massachusetts, and I have the audacity to wear a Yankees hat. I'm not starting any trouble because right now the black guy looks better in the crowd than I do. And if anybody knows the Quincy area, it's a rough area. It's a tough spot. So yeah, I was complete dog shit on that evening. But then the Sox won that game, so everything was cool because somebody yelled, we're going to take it all now. Let's all have a drink. And we drank together, and the guy that even helped me take my hat off with his fist bought me a shot later on that night. So
everything's good when we're winning, man.
Oh yeah. I was like, you guys are still down 3-1, but you're acting like you just won the fucking World Series. I didn't realize you would, but yeah.
No, that was the game before that was the last time we lost for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that series. I think something happened. I don't know what the hell it was, but I'm glad. What's his name? Who was that pitcher with the bloody sock?
Schilling.
Yeah, Schilling. How's he doing financially? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's also got cancer too.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but he did go broke. He did. Who puts all their money in a in a video game idea? Like, hey, it's like, what's that movie, Knocked Up? where they're like, we got this idea for this website. It's about celebrities being naked.
And it's already on there.
Oh, wait, Mr. Skin? Oh, damn it. This guy's like, I got this really cool idea. What do you call it? It's like World of Warcraft, but it's exactly like it, but it's not as good. Okay, we're going to stick with World of Warcraft. Go sell your sock now.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but hey, man, great having you on. You're more than welcome anytime.
You know what, man? When we get around to the AFC East, because we just did the NFC North last night, when we get around to the AFC East, I want you on my show.
That would be awesome. Yeah, just send me any rules for your show, and I will happily abide by them. I just don't want to use any salty language.
Oh, no, on our show? No. We're listed as explicit on iTunes.
All right, okay, same here. Nice. Awesome. And, yeah, I would love to be on with the AFC East, just as long as we don't mention Kiko Alonso. All right? We'll just...
I'll remember that.
Yeah, we'll just...
I'll try to forget it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, we'll just say that guy. You know, I'll feel as bad as Deion Branch after he left the first time. Like, oh, fuck, maybe this wasn't a good move.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much for the invite. I've had a blast on your show, man. Your show is awesome.
Oh, thanks, dude.
And, yeah, I'll continue to plug you guys, too, man.
Oh, thanks a lot, man.
Thanks for the invite.
But, yeah, plug your show one last time, the exact time. Because you guys are in the Pacific time right now, right?
Yeah, usually we're on Saturdays, 11 to 1. This weekend, I gave everybody the weekend off because I'm also the director of sports entertainment, so I can do that. So our next show will be Tuesday night, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then the following Saturday, we'll be back on regular hours, 11 to 1. So 2 times a week, we're talking sports here at Vets on Media Sports.
Nice, man. All right, JD, thanks for being on, man.
Appreciate it, bud, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
That was JD from JD's Rockin' Sports. Now you get 2 times JD Rockin' Sports. That's enough to even have. Oh, and he just sent me his website. Awesome. JDS Rockin' Sports. Now, if you say it just a little bit differently, it's JDS Rockin's Ports. Like, I don't know what he has to do with the shipping industry, but JD's Rockin's Ports. See how the difference of changing the pronunciation or something just a little bit differently, or shuffling up those letters? I didn't shuffle it. I just kind of slid them over. It's JDS ROCKIN SPORTS. All right, so check out JD'sRockinsports.com, and I'm going to check out his man laws after I sit on my throne for a while. I got to decompress after the show because now it's almost midnight here in the west coast of Pennsylvania. But yeah, I don't really have too much more other than I'm going to give out the junk punch of the week, and since we're going to stick with we there's no team in I, all right? I am I legend, I silent J, I the only one on this show. I'm going to give out the junk punch of the week. I'm going to give it to Belgium. No, actually, no, I'm not. Yeah, yesterday, the U.S. lost in the World Cup, death matches, and the goalie was trampled by bulls. And that's what happened to the death match. They didn't tell you about that stuff on TV, but I know for a fact that's what happens. But anyway, I actually want to give a junk punch to all you fake-ass soccer fans. I played soccer. I am a soccer fan. I like soccer. I enjoy soccer. You know, all you fucks out there that ruin it for real soccer fans like me. You know, it's like people like all the hockey fans in LA right now. Piss off. All the Heat fans outside of Miami-Dade County and Broward County. Piss off. All the Seattle Seahawks fans, you know, east of the Pacific Standard Time Zone. You could all piss off. All the San Antonio Spurs fans that live in Minnesota and Ohio, yeah, you know what you can do too. Don't piss off. Piss into the wind, all right? All you guys with the Cleveland Cavalier jerseys, like, do you realize, hey, for all you guys that are still rocking the Cleveland Cavalier jerseys, because that was James's original team, did you realize baby blue was their color in the 90s? Did you realize that? You bandwagon broad fans. I hate bandwagon broads fans. And listen, Asian guys, you don't get a pass. When Jeremy Lin started scoring in the NBA, and all of a sudden Asian dudes are wearing Jeremy Lin jerseys, like, you don't even know what basketball is. Cut that shit out. You know? Okay, maybe you weren't old enough to remember what Yao Ming did for the game, but stop it. All you 17-year-olds walking, oh, we got a hero now. Shut up. The game for the game. Not what the athlete looks like, or where the athlete's from, or this is my favorite player, so I'm gonna like every team he's on. Okay, so if you're a Tom Brady fan, say you don't like the Patriots, but Tom Brady is your man, and you just like Tom Brady, and say he goes to the Dolphins, are you a Dolphins fan all of a sudden after hating on the damn Dolphins for years, or the Jets? What about if Tom Brady went to the Jets? Are all of a sudden all the Brady fans, oh, listen, I supported him for years in New England, so now I got to support him in New Jersey with the Jets. You know, yeah, Jets, Jets. That's what I say for the last 10 seconds. Shut up. Sports fans are the biggest jerks in the world. Listen, I am a huge Ryan Miller fan. Am I going to root for Ryan Miller anymore? When he went to St. Louis at the trade deadline last year, I'm like, all right, the Sabres traded him, got some young guys in return, got some draft picks. I'd like to see Ryan Miller win the Cup. That's why they traded him to St. Louis. They'd like to see him win the Cup. Now that he's with Vancouver, bye, Ryan Miller. I don't like you anymore. I liked Ryan Miller a lot. I spent money on Ryan Miller sweaters. I don't like Ryan Miller no more. My favorite hockey player, years, Jason Pominville. I got a couple, two or three Jason Pominville sweaters. If you don't know what a sweater is in hockey talk, that's a jersey. I have the authentic shits too. Not that there's fake ones, right? I have them up in my closet. I'm pointing like I'm talking about my closet in my room, and that's where it is, up there. So you should know that if you're watching that, it's right up there. I'm not going to wear a Jason Pominville jersey again or sweater again. Like, oh, yay, dude, I'm a Minnesota. I don't know what team he plays for anymore. I like him so much, but I don't care. I don't care who he plays for. I love David Wells. David Wells is my favorite athlete of all time. Loved him with the Yankees. You know, I started liking him when I think it was with Cincinnati and then Baltimore. Loved him with the Yankees. I'm like, yes, I love this guy on my favorite team. When he went to Toronto for a couple years, I saw him. His first game he pitched in Toronto. I wasn't like all of a sudden, yeah, let's go Jays. No, fuck you, Jays. Screw the Jays. Screw Joe Carter for bringing America's World Series title to another country. How dare you? Screw you, Joe Carter. Kirby Puckett. Was it Kirby Puckett? Who did they play that year? No, it was the Braves. Kirby Puckett. He was with the Twins. I think they beat the Braves. Yeah, and David Justice. Screw you, Joe Carter. That's what I have to say about that. But that water is old. But anyway, I gotta go. I'm gonna go. I just hit over the two hour mark, and I hate editing 2 hour plus shows. So anyway, go and check out JD's Rockin' Sports on Saturday mornings and then Tuesday evenings, and JD'sRockinSports.com. Check that out. Check out Tactical16.com. This is my book daddies there. And check out VetsOnMedia.com. Go to VetsOnMedia.com, and you can see the show listings for all the shows. Okay? And then one last thing. This guy right here, I might become I guess you can say how should I say it? Might become a freelance writer for a fairly popular, see, not a speaker. I guess you could say freelance writer. I guess that's what it would be. I'm just assuming. It looks like I might become a freelance writer for an influential magazine related to veterans. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. We'll see. I don't know, but I might be a freelance writer for a publishing that is very much involved in the veteran or the GI world. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. But anyway, I'm going to get going, okay? And I want to say thank you, all of you, for listening and tuning in. If you came over because you're a fan of JD, thank you guys. This is what you get. The best one-man show in the world, all right? I am the one-man band of internet radio, all right? So you enjoy that, okay? But I'm going to go. Check out tactical16.com, vetsonmedia.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter and Google+. So do that, and I will see you guys. Maybe I'll see you guys Sunday night on Center Mass with Rob and Silent J. If not, I'll see you next Wednesday, okay? Tactical 16 Radio with Silent J. I'm going to go now, all right? Bye, kiddies. You know.
For my family, for my friends, for those that we lost our strength. This is a message, this is for you. Never forget the Lower East Side Crew. For my family, for my friends, for those that we lost our strength. This is a message, this is for you. Never forget the Lower East Side Crew.